So in all these different situations in my own life and in the lives of people, families I've been involved with, where there's prolonged, perpetuated abuse, and it's there intentionally, and there's like a stalemate. It doesn't solve. I see the same patterns, and I recognize them. A set of behaviors, a constellation, a conglomerate of behaviors that intentionally perpetuate abuse for malicious purpose, for emotional gratification from this is like sadistic intention that someone with sadistic intention, and for financial gain that a criminal would do, either an individual or an institution. And these are the behaviors. There's very, very easy solutions available, but they're refused. The solution is refused because there's people and institutions that benefit from the problem. Notice that when you see it, okay? Communication is blocked. And so when you're telling the previous video was sent, when you're describing what's going on, it doesn't fit the criteria of what can be addressed, so then it's not even heard, and then your credibility is questioned, saying, are you on meds? And then false information is disseminated and you don't have access to it. Another indicator is someone saying, well, I'm just doing my job. We don't write the laws, we just enforce it. Or it's just what I'm told to do. So you look at the Milgram experiment, that's what that's about. If someone's doing something that in that experiment that the volunteer is told to apply an electric shock, painful electric shock to someone they don't see when they give a wrong answer. And then it escalates to a point that the near death, it's caused a fatal fatality. And the person says, well, I was told to do it and I did it. So if the cops are perpetuating a cruel policy, and they say, we don't write the laws, we just enforce it. Go to Sacramento. And the next day I talk to them, well, that's just an expression. So they're not responsible for what they're doing because somebody else told them to do it. They're trained to do it. It's the policy to do it. It's the law. And so the people who did it aren't doing it, so they don't feel responsible because they're not the ones implementing it. They wrote the laws and policies that are causing it. The ones who are implementing it say, we didn't write it. We're just implementing it. Don't look at us. So anytime somebody says, hey, they're doing something bad, they say, I'm just a messenger. I'm just doing what I'm told to do, even though it's bad. And then the fact that the cop, and then the absence of remorse. The fact that the cop told me he's not allowed to voice how he feels about what he's doing. He's not allowed to give his own opinion. So the diagnosis, the people, antisocial personality disorder, they don't have a conscience. They will do bad and they don't feel. And then when somebody can't acknowledge they're doing something wrong, so they can say anything they want without accountability. And so the fact that they refuse to mediate, not that if mediation were provided, it would solve it. A third person there who is listening in on a conversation, a communication meant to solve tackle the situation, that is done. If I'm addressing, look, this is a simple solution we can do, and the answer that's given is not reasoned, it's an intentionally given to cloudy the water. That's another indication. People who say stuff just to confuse you and cloudy the water and mislead you. So, but to hold that person accountable. So if we're in a meeting and a third person is there, a therapist, a social worker, somebody who will write down what the response is, and then rate that answer for accuracy and for intention. And then let's try again. So that we fact check that. That's not a helpful answer. That's misinformed. That the intention of it, the motive of it, the result of it, it's not helping at all. The honesty of it, the accuracy of it. And then, so let's try again and answer. Here's a solution. And then, can you acknowledge this thing is happening? It's not an accusation. This is wrong. That's the number one thing. Can you acknowledge what's happening is unfair? It's not right. Can you acknowledge? That's the most basic thing. Someone abusing, for them to acknowledge what they're doing is wrong. Sincerely, not just say, "Oh, I was kidding you. I was just playing with you." That's what they'll do. They'll tell you, "Look, everything I just told you, I was just playing with you." So that one basic thing in all of these situations I've seen that is intentionally not provided. Therapists say there's nothing we can do. That's a service that should be available for these, and that the absence of it allows so much abuse and cruelty to be perpetuated on people of neurodiverse, on kids, because I report to Adult Protective Service, Child Protective Service, things going on. They say, "Well, we're going to call the cops," and I know the cops don't want to mediate. They just put their hands up like they say it's a civil thing. The only remedies provided, if it's a crime, you arrest them, punish them. If it's a civil, they say to see a civil. If it's not a crime, then it's a civil thing. Go see a lawyer, and lawyers only interested in profiting. This is why this stuff is perpetuated, because the lawyers who write the laws profit from it. You understand? So the police are trained to enforce these cruel operations that target people, the neurodiverse, the vulnerable, children of abuse, adult children of abuse, anyone, and all the abuse, all the scams going on, all the injustice, and then the laws and the policies, the mental health services available, everything accommodates it to be perpetuated. And the simple solution is to have a third person with good intention who is able to mediate a constructive conversation between two people, two parties, and present a solution available. And then look, this is the solution. You're not willing to do it? Can you acknowledge that is wrong? That alone. The first step is acknowledge what isn't right is wrong. And once you acknowledge it, then that shows the next step would be, let's make the intention to correct it. Instead of punishing it, suing it, arresting it. Do you understand? The whole criminal justice system, mental health system, it punishes, it medicates, but it doesn't correct what's wrong in these situations when the person is refusing help, you see? So the remedy should be provided for this condition when abuse is perpetuated for profit, emotional, financial, and then for so long, and I've seen it in my life, my mom, my family, extended family, in people lives of people I'm involved with. We need a mediator who writes down the answers of the perpetrator and holds them accountable and points out, look, this isn't right. And this can be acknowledged that. I'm Zeke Matevosian.